I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message!
Alright, what's going on, family? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Know Yourself Academy. It's your guy, Bora, the Lucky Libra here. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be getting into the Gemini Rising sign, alright? Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, what is your rising sign, alright? The rising sign, the reason why your rising sign is so important, alright? The reason why we throw it in the big three with the sun, moon, and the rising, because this is the energy that has everything to do with your personal issues and the self, because this is the energy, the constellation that's in your first house. And we know those are the energies that's dealing with your first house, the personality, you, how you personally see things, how you personally go about starting things, how others, the aura and the energy people pick up on your appearance, especially on first impression, which may appear to be you, but based off your sun and moon sign, may not actually be how you get down. All right, and the other very significant reason why, knowing your rising sign and what energy is in the first house is because, we see your spiritual path. We see, what things you have to learn in this lifetime based off the angles the first house is making with the fourth house, which is the water cardinal house, the seventh house, which is the air cardinal house, and the 10th house, which is the earth cardinal house. And with these angles, which the fourth house is squaring, seventh house is opposite, 10th house is squaring, these are all learning processes, aka your personal spiritual path while you're here. So this is very significant reason why you want to understand the energies of your rising sign. Now, Gemini rising sign, all right, so this is mutable air in the first house. So this person, personally likes to, this is more of a real light upbeat energy where you're Gemini rising are real open people, all right? They can start conversations lightly, all right? They can dive into different activities lightly. They're like, it's like Geminis are, because you have Mercury here. So when you have Mercury rules Gemini, so that's your chart ruler. So you want to see what house Mercury is in to see where your personality is going to be the most active at, all right? What house it's in. But when you have Mercury here, Mercury is a very curious planet. It's like the little brother, all right? Little brother in the family, and also how everything in the house work is in Venus and Mars. Her older sister and brother room, his older sister and brother room, looking in their drawers, seeing what they got, all right, looking through their phones while they sleep. This is the curious little brother of the family. So personally, this person can be into a lot of things, can be a real spontaneous person. And the mind here, it's like you have a mind processor whenever you have dealing with the Gemini sun, moon, or risings. Like, when you have that Mercury influences people that has that just work like computers, always picking up the details and the data of everything, and then people expressions and whatnot. All right. Now, you also have very informative people that just know a lot of things as a Gemini rising, but very talkative people, all right, can communicate, can also take different communication forms though, and do this naturally, I believe better, express this energy more than a Gemini sun and moon, because we know with the Gemini energy, we're talking about the twins, the duality, all right? So when they're jumping into these different communication bags, your rising sign is the thing you do subconsciously. People pick out that you do these things and you don't even realize you do these things, all right? You see your sun and your moon actions more personally before you see the things that you're into that you do as your rising sign. So as a Gemini rising, is like just talking, holding a conversation, that alone can make you feel better. That you just naturally, you don't even notice how talkative you are as a Gemini. You just think you're bouncing, exchanging energies with everybody, but you're really just, communicating everything that kind of comes to your head sometimes. That filter that comes from what you're thinking about to communicating, that filter is very thin for a Gemini rising, and also Gemini suns and moon. But like I said, the rising house is just the things that you naturally do and you don't even realize it, all right? Now the fourth house, we have Virgo, all right? So when we talk about the home area, when we talk about the heart space area, what makes you comfortable here, your environment, the things you experience in the home, is a dry temperament here, all right? And with the Virgo energy here, you're probably forced to learn how to work on things, learn the details of things, some type of colder structure in the home, all right? And as a Gemini rising, relating the emotions, and because it's mutable air, so it ain't really about emotions here, it's more so about logic and communication. So when trying to be relatable in the home, that may not have always bounced back, in a harmonious manner because it was more cold. And it causes a Gemini rising to even be more spontaneous, be more out there, see how other things work, just because of the fact that you may have been reluctant to even initiate conversation about certain things because you knew what type of temperament you was going to get back with responses dealing with people in the home. All right, you may even been like kind of started working early with a Gemini rising with that Virgo in the 4th house. All right, also with that Virgo energy in the 4th house as a Gemini rising, you may have been critiqued a lot. All right, criticism in your life may have been really high coming from the home environment growing up. All right, we know that Virgo energy, and this square is not as bad as of a clash because they share Mercury. Gemini is the masculine version, masculine side of Mercury, and Virgo is the feminine side of Mercury. So as far as receiving this energy is going to play out more in the 4th. Receiving this Mercury energy is going to play out more in the 4th house in the home area because that's Virgo. So receiving the details about things, receiving, all right, learning how to work from other people, learning how things work from people in your family and whatnot on a technical way or whatnot. So when we get into the 7th house, we have Sagittarius here. All right, so the 7th house deals with how we relate to how we relate to people, places, and things on a one-on-one level. So when you have Sagittarius here as a Gemini rising, you have to learn to relate to people, places, and things with some meaning and reasoning. You can't just. Oh, one thing about the 4th house I wanted to say as well too. Matter of fact, I saved this for the end because it had to do with celebrities, and we go through the celebrities at the end. And the 7th house, you have to learn to relate to people, places, and things with meanings and reasons, not just being out there and being so mutable and wanting to just pick people's minds and have fun, just having that little intellectual back and forth, that intellectual logical exchange of energy. There has to be meaning or reason to why you're connecting to this business plan, why you're connecting to this group of people, why you're connecting and dating this person. It can't be that surface level. It can't just be because this person is comfortable conversation level and y'all could just kick it, have sex, play video games, order Uber Eats, and it just be that's it. Like, no, you have to search for that. You have to search to expand on that, because when you have Jupiter here, this is expanding. So a Gemini rising also, people with heavy air placements, you manifest a heavy social life. You manifest a lot of friends, people in your life, social groups or whatnot. So, Geminis have to learn how to place, Gemini risings have to learn how to place some meaning and reasonings with the people, places, and things that they're connecting to. Because let alone, just by being a Gemini rising, personally, you're going to manifest a lot of people and relationships in your life. And a lot of them that you may not need. A lot of them that may be detriment, but because of what they entice you to do, you subconsciously don't realize that this relationship is a detriment in your life. All right, and the 7th house is going to teach you that, because that's the opposite. So it's going to be a clash you got to learn with. But overall, that's the energy you're going to experience in the 7th house. All right, being in relationships with people on a mundane level and seeing how certain patterns are reoccurring, then that's gonna be a sign for you to understand that you're dating the wrong people over and over again. All right, you're getting into relationships for the wrong reason, and relating to people, places, and things for the wrong reasons over and over again. All right, and you got to learn to just relate to people on a higher level. All right, and overall, that's the energy coming from the 7th house. So then we go into the 10th house, and we know the 10th house deals with how you rise to a status, whether it being a actual status, or how you rise to a certain energy, frequency, vibration, and relationship, how you rise to obtain a goal. All right, not just your social status and how you're seen, but how you rise to a status or something. All right, and this is how you build stability and what you can be known for. So in the 10th house, we have Pisces here. All right, now Pisces is naturally, that constellation is naturally a sextile to the natural ruler of this 10th house. All right, which is Capricorn, but which the houses rule the signs don't rule the houses gave birth to the signs. All right, but when we have Pisces in the 10th house, you need to learn to rise to status through some emotional, mutable connections, through, once again, things that are dealing with meanings and reasonings. See, now look, when we look at the squares, Jupiter is detriment in Gemini. All right, and Jupiter is dealing with meanings, reasonings, diving into your higher self, broader perspective, spirituality, philosophy. All right, comes out in the 9th house, the house of enlightenment. So when you have Jupiter as a detriment, and Jupiter also represents experiences and how we learn from our experiences to bring spiritual growth and expansion. All right, keyword expansion with Jupiter. When you have Jupiter detriment in your 1st house, all right, you personally, you got to learn as a Gemini rising. You manifest a lot of people in your life. You're going to manifest a lot of spontaneous and mutable experiences, being adaptable and mutable and just rolling with the flow like you do. That air that's connective, that's for everybody, mutable air, all right? The air that's just out there for everybody to breathe, okay? Because that's your energy personally, you're going to manifest a lot of situations where you're going to have to really learn from your experiences in life. You know, experiences maybe happen really fast as a Gemini rising. Like some Gemini risings probably live a crazy life, be 18, be like, damn, that's been your life so far. It's a lot of things going on. And you would think because you have Sagittarius, as a Sagittarius rising personally, it manifests a lot of experiences because Jupiter's dealing with experiences. But Jupiter is teaching, period. So if it's detriment here as you're going through these experiences, because you manifest so much different connections with people, whatever, because you're so open, and it's not a problem for you as a Gemini rising to dive into a situation or dive into, you know, relationship, or not even a relationship with a title, just a relationship relating with somebody, period. You know, you're gonna be placed in situations where you're seeing certain patterns, all right, and you're gonna have to learn, you know, to have meanings and reasonings to the things that you do in your life, period. All right. 10th house is ruled by Jupiter. I mean, not the 10th house. Pisces, that's in the 10th house for Gemini rising, is ruled by Jupiter. So in order to rise to the status of something, you have to be able to learn from your experiences and have and gain an emotional subconscious awareness, internal awareness of the things you're going through, and see how to rise to something instead of just logically seeing how things may work and go with it. No, you have to learn to feel some things out as a Gemini rising. You can't just be able to mentally think. You can mentally process everything in your head. So a lot of air signs, heavy air sign placements, try to do a lot. Think they could logically break down every situation in their life, and sometimes you got to learn to run with that gut feeling, with that gut instinct, with your intuition, all right? Because, you know, that has a lot to do with, you know, the frequency, vibration your spirit is picking up on. These are the things we ignore a lot of the times because we may be caught up on that being so left-brained, and, you know, there's a balance to jumping into both. But, you know, Gemini rising's got to learn that. You got to learn that in this lifetime. You want to rise to a certain position in the career, you got to learn to get emotionally invested into that and not just think it's just a, you know, a ABC thing. You want to rise to a certain status in a relationship, you got to really put some emotional frequency, vibration into that. You really got to have some substance into that, right? That's the key word for Gemini risings. You know, seeing the substance in people, places, and things in your life, all right? And especially with that Sagittarius 4th house, you know, with that Jupiter influences there, you're going to have to be able to learn people's creative expressions and what the meanings and reasons behind people creative expressions in the home. And that's something you learn in the home, and you're able to carry that out to help you get to the 10th house, to understand how to connect with others, to rise to a certain status with emotional connection and seeing you know, where somebody's coming from on a emotional level or whatnot, or from a subconscious internal perspective, all right? And you're able to process that not just logically but feel it out and understand how to move from there, all right? But overall, once again, air rising, so very informative people with that Mercury in the 1st house, all right? Just people that just know a lot of things, all right? Just know a lot of random things, all right? And if they don't know a solution for something, they kind of just have details that may lead to finding out the solution for an issue, all right? And you know, Gemini rising, they like to keep things very light. And when I say light, they don't like dealing with heavy emotion, things that bring people down, all right? So, you know, these people could be very communicative. They like comic relief. If there's heavy emotional energy in the room, they could just say something that, you know, they think that's gonna just break that energy real quick and do it subconsciously. And they don't even, and it may be something offensive that they say, but they may not even realize their intentions is just to break all that nasty, awkward silence. Let's get some nice, mutable conversation going on. So, you know, But lighthearted people, they just have to learn how to do things in life with more meaning and reasoning. Now, some Gemini rising celebrities we have is R. Kelly, Fidel Castro, Saddam Hussein, goddamn, Jackie Chan, LeBron James. One thing I wanted to say early in the video, but I said I was going to save it to the end when we got to celebrities. You know, that 4th house. And excuse me, I actually made a mistake early in this video. I was talking about Sagittarius in the 4th house. With Jupiter in the 4th house, you're going to have to learn meaning and reasoning. I meant that in the 7th house. You have Jupiter in the 7th house. So you're going to have to learn the meanings and reasonings in people's creative expression. People's expressions in the 7th house. Not in the 4th house. 4th house is Virgo. All right, so here you're learning more, you know, there's more dry temperament and more, you rewind to the beginning of the video to get the gist of it. All right, but what I wanted to say was LeBron James, you know, as he's a Gemini rising, and you can see how, you know, we have Virgo in the 4th house, but you can see how he's real family oriented. And I don't really know what other placements he has in the 4th house or where his moon is at or whatnot, but just by the 4th house being probably more cold, dry, having to work on things, having to take more of a responsibility, all right, in the 4th house in the home, that has made him probably want to look forward to being more nurturing and having that affection with his own family, all right. So there's positives and negatives to all energies, all exaltations, detriments. It don't matter. Squares, gifts, trines, any one of those could be positive or negative. So it's just really dependent on the frequency vibration of your spirit, or your positive or negative spirit. So we got LeBron James, Amy Winehouse, Osama bin Laden, Will Smith, Lady Gaga, Pamela Anderson, Matthew McConaughey, Ashton Kutcher, and Mick Jagger. All right, so there's some celebrities for you, some Gemini risings right there. Will Smith, very talkative, you feel me, but very mutable, could jump into all different type of communication styles, you feel me. You know, you guys should be able to correlate some of the energies and how some of these people appear to be. All right, now, and that's the Gemini rising, man. That overall wraps up the Gemini rising archetype. So y'all already know what it is, family. Like, share, subscribe. We're gonna be picking up the next John with the Cancer rising. All right, but until then, your guy Boy was up out of here. Peace.